So the big question is, where do we go from here? You know, the apocalypse never happened. And I had to leave the country for the past few weeks and deal with a family matter. I really missed you guys. And traveling gave me plenty of time to reflect on the events over the past 4 years, as well as the events over the past month. We did overwhelm them at the ballot box, and thank God for that. Trump won, we got the House and the Senate back, and we have a majority on the Supreme Court. Thankfully, the post-election riots, George Floyd style, never manifested. At least not yet. The supply chains didn't collapse. There's still food in the supermarkets. The next promised pandemic has not manifested. And despite a few unexplained drones and a lot of fear porn running amok, things right now seem to be pretty darn good. So what does it all mean? Where do we go from here? Number one, things are not normal. Things have not returned to normal. There are those of us who have woken up and we're not going back. We cannot pretend like the last 4 years just didn't happen. Despite what many would like, we can't just move on. We can't just do that. There have to be lessons learned and actions taken from those lessons. For one thing, the airline and commercial industry in this country is a disaster. DEI, the woke agenda, and fear porn in the aftermath of 9/11, yeah, it goes back that far, as well as the pandemic, have completely destroyed the commercial travel industry. Sadly, it's probably one of those things that are so far down on Trump's radar that it'll probably garner little attention. But commercial travel in our country sucks these days, and it doesn't have to. I'll definitely have to dedicate a whole series to that topic.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
So where do we go from here? What are those lessons? At the top of the list, we cannot take our freedom for granted. It's up to each of us to take an active role in our government. If you can't get involved at the state or federal level, at least take an active role in your local government. School boards, special districts, city council, wherever you can get involved. I'm not tooting my own horn because self-praise sucks. I'm just pointing out that I am putting my money where my mouth is. During this last election cycle, I personally was elected to the Sunshine Water Control District in my area. It's a small nothing position and it's a thankless job. The board oversees the drainage in my community, but the board oversees millions of taxpayer dollars, my taxpayer dollars, to ensure proper drainage in my community. So it's important to bring conservative values to make certain that those funds are properly administered and allocated. Again, I'm not looking for self-praise or self-congratulations. I'm just pointing out that I am doing my small part. I know we all have busy lives, but we got into this mess in the first place because we weren't actively involved. I know I sure as shit wasn't involved.
Damn!
And another lesson, question everything. So many of our institutions are so badly broken. Just a few examples: education, medicine, food. These are just a few pre-pandemic areas that so many of us took for granted. So where do we go from here? Education. I've been homeschooling my kids since 2020 and I haven't looked back. My kids are thriving academically and they're not getting the communist woke ideology from the mainstream education system. Now, homeschool may not be an option for everyone, especially ultra busy parents. I get that, but if they are still in the system, you have to take an active role in their education. Because if we learn one thing from Zoom school, the mainstream is brainwashing them and failing them miserably. So where do we go from here? Medicine? As far as the broken medical community goes, I don't even know where to start. And I'm not just going to sit here and disparage doctors. It is still one of the noblest professions. But during the pandemic, we learned that so many of them are tainted by big pharma. I don't want to spend too much time on this today. The medical rabbit hole is so deep and vast. Let's just stick to the lessons. Sadly, you need to do your own medical homework and education. Do not blindly trust doctors. And you need to be your own advocate. Seek out doctors who understand holistic health and alternative medicines, and ones that truly understand the values of vitamins and exercise. And above all, avoid doctors who are quick to prescribe pills, especially when lifestyle choices are usually the preferred cure and alternative. Oh, and 6, avoid doctors who are still telling you that the COVID vaccines were safe and effective, especially if those are the ones who are still advising you to wear masks and be socially distant. Avoid those doctors like the plague. You get it? You see what I did there? Where do we go from here regarding food? As far as food goes, holy crap. I really thought I was eating healthy before the pandemic. Boy, was I wrong. Today, I avoid all processed foods as best I can. I also do my best to avoid eating foods that are cooked in seed oils, as well as avoiding eating grains that are grown here in America, at least until America can clean up its act.
You can do it!
I now know how to harvest my own water, and I can grow 100% of my own food for myself and my family. Which is crazy, but there's been nothing more satisfying than going outside and eating a carrot or a banana or a piece of lettuce that I grew in my own garden. I now know how to grow and harvest organic, healthy food quickly and efficiently. I couldn't do any of that before. So where do we go from here? Because some people out there might be feeling stupid because of all the preparation and the apocalypse never came. Well, here's a little advice. Instead of feeling bitter and stupid, recognize that you saw shit that other people didn't. You are the primary reason we educated the masses and overwhelmed them at the ballot box last month. And 3, you didn't poison yourself or your children with that garbage mRNA vaccine. Regardless, you've got to have a sense of humor about the whole thing.
Since the election, I haven't had a single person try to shoot me. It's like this body armor is completely going to waste. So disappointing. Do you happen to know anyone who might want to buy 3,000 pounds of beans? Well, it turns out I might not have needed 100,000 rounds of ammunition. It's a shame. I was looking forward to using it. This whole election aftermath is very disappointing to me.
You didn't want Trump to win?
No, I did. I'm just disappointed that he did.
Why?
I think just would have gotten a lot more interesting if he didn't win. I've spent the past 4 years prepping for that. Ugh! Try selling a used pitchfork. Who's gonna buy that?
Wouldn't they buy it for gardening?
Well, I guess you could use one for gardening. Never thought of that. 700 cans of tuna in my bedroom closet. I had to get rid of all my clothes too so it would fit. Plus I opened them all too so I'd be ready to go. And I've since discovered that the resale value of 700 cans of open tuna isn't very high. I was prepared for anything. Plus, for 4 years, I've had to endure my friends and family calling me a complete nutcase preparing for the apocalypse.
Did you ever consider that they might be right?
They're not right, because if what I thought was going to happen did happen, then who'd be laughing now?
Well, they're laughing now.
You just don't understand the big picture. Did you know that non-perishable food will actually perish after 20 years? Seems like they should have to tell you that. Yeah, I'll just leave it for my grandkids one day. I've literally rearranged my whole life to deal with a post-apocalyptic world, and it's kind of stressful that it's not happening. My tactical wheelbarrow isn't good for much other than killing hostile neighbors. The sniper nest I installed on my roof leaks, and I've got no use for kitchen knives in my living room. And I'm pretty sure the 600,000 dead cats I purchased are gonna go to waste.
Why did you buy 600,000 dead cats?
Oh, and I can't use my car anymore.
Why can't you use your car anymore?
Oh, because I cut the brake line.
Why?
So no one else could get to it first. Staying one step ahead. I even stocked up on toilet paper, and now what am I gonna use that for?
Well, you could use it.
I'm not gonna use toilet paper. Do you know how long it took me to dig that bunker?
Where's the bunker?
You see it back there, it's by the big mound of dirt.
What's the mound of dirt for?
I had a lot of dirt left over from digging out the bunker, so I buried it right there next to the bunker. But now it's all going to waste. If the deep state would have won and installed another totalitarian puppet, I would have been prepared. I would have been able to keep myself alive for at least another 2, maybe even 3 days. Now it's all going to waste.
Huge hat tip to JP Sears. He is always hysterical and always on the mark. Links to his stuff are in the description below. If you are not following JP and watching him regularly, you are missing out. But in all seriousness, where do we go from here? Trump still isn't in office yet. I remain incredibly optimistic, but we still need to remain vigilant. The last 4 years opened my eyes to the horrific realities of human trafficking. There are more slaves on the planet now than there were when slavery was legal. Let me repeat that. There are more slaves on the planet now than there were when slavery was legal. Huh? In case you missed it.
All right, Tim, so where are we? What are we doing?
All right, so we're on the border. This is just the first of many operations. We know that the United States has lost over 300,000 children, okay, who have made the journey across the border, and then they're just delivered, given up to whoever really wants to sponsor them. I mean, we've seen kids with phone numbers on their chests, on their arms. CBP sends them to HHS, who sends them to NGOs. These NGOs just call the number, and with your taxpayer dollars, send them to whoever is the sponsor with very little to no vetting or investigative background. I mean, can you imagine a child in New York City, okay, who's found alone, crying, looking for his parents? What would happen to that kid? CPS, the police, would take that child in, right? They would do background checks, DNA testing. That kid would not be turned over to anyone unless it was 100% confirmed that that kid was going to his family. But this administration, the Biden administration, under the great border czar Kamala Harris, right, afford foreign children no such benefit. They treat foreign children like slaves, like complete crap, because they do nothing for them other than give them a meal or two and then send them on their way to whoever claims them. And by the way, they're going into a country which is the #1 consumer for child sexual exploitation material. This is not the country. The United States is not the country you want to be lost in. And so, we think of America as the place that liberates. We have a heritage of liberating the captive. Unfortunately, because of this current administration, we can't continue that legacy. We have to come into Mexico and work with the Mexican officials to rescue the children from America. I can't believe I'm even saying this. It's so heartbreaking as an American that I have to go to Mexico with my team to rescue children from America. Okay, but that's what we're doing. We're here on the border. We're working leads. We have a couple that could be promising, but we're heading into one of them right now, and we pray to God that we'll find kids that that have been kidnapped from all around the world, brought to the border, and waiting for their trafficker to give them the green light to come on over, and after which they use the U.S. agencies from CBP to HHS to the contractor NGOs that are making millions of dollars. Those have become the child trafficking delivery services paid for by your tax dollars. It's one of the most horrific things. I'd say it is the most horrific thing since institutionalized slavery that we saw in the 18th and 19th century in this country. That's where we are. We're back into that. It's just more hidden than it was, but it is slavery, and it is backed by your taxpayer dollars, and we're gonna fight it. And if we have to fight it from Mexico, then we'll fight it from Mexico.
Huge hat tip to Tim Ballard. He is doing yeoman's work out there. God bless him and his efforts. We wish him the best of success. We all can't be Tim Ballard. Where do we go from here? We all have a lot of work to do. We have to get involved and stay involved. And to our politicians out there,
I have a message for all our United States senators, every single one of you. We, the people of the United States, have given President Trump a very clear mandate to clean up the bloat and the corruption in our government. It is infected everywhere, and it must be done now and without any further delay. He has the support of the most diversified coalition that we have seen in this country in a long time, and the country is more united than the media would have you believe, and we are united behind President Trump's agenda to make America great again. The damage that has been done to this country in the last 4 years is inexcusable and borders on criminal. We want you to be part of cleaning it up. Remember, you work for us. We're not interested in your opinions of his appointees. We want them confirmed expeditiously. We are not interested in sound bites you might want to make for your next campaign. We want you to hold the hearings, affirm the candidates, and let's get on with the business of government that is so important to the American people.
huge hat tip to Sidney Powell. Man, they put her through the ringer. I could not agree with her sentiment here more. God bless you, Miss Powell. Oh, and before I go, if any of you listening have any connections to the big orange boss, please get him to help fix commercial travel here in America, because DEI, the woke agenda, and fear porn have completely broken it. And most of us common folk aren't shuttled around in limousines, yachts, or get to fly off on private jets. Most of us common folks are relegated to commercial travel. Yes, it's an exciting time to be alive, especially if we can end human trafficking. It sure feels like we're on the cusp of a new golden age. So where do we go from here? We still have a lot of work to do, and we all have to get and stay involved. Well, that's it for me today, folks. Please join the channel because it really helps the algorithm. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, and share. Remember, everyone wakes up at their own pace, and you are not alone. It's our job to help and educate as many people as possible. God bless America, God bless this podcast, and God bless you. Stay frosty, my friends.